Okay. I'm redoing my Jim Henson birthday memorial. He was 77. He'd be 77 years old today. Um, he died, I said cancer, but he didn't. His wife did, but he didn't. He died of a bacterial disease. Sepsis, Sepis, I think. I don't know how to pronounce it or really spell it, but it was a bacterial disease. Um, but he was a genius. He created my childhood and the Muppets and Sesame Street, and he didn't really get to live long enough to see what Sesame Street could have been, and is, and I kind of wonder what he would think of it right now. Like it's been on for I think 36. No, been on longer than 36. I think it's been on a long time, and kind of wonder what he would think of it still being on the air even. Um, we've lost a lot of people on Sesame Street. A lot of people. And what's interesting is that I watched his memorial service on YouTube, and it was sad and beautiful and so much, so many things, and one uh, for one moment. But there were so many people paying tribute to him that are no longer here now, so it's kind of interesting. Um, I didn't know. I looked up his wife because she died this year, I believe. Um, and I looked her up, Jane Henson, and I found out that they were separated when he died. Which I kind of thought was interesting, and I guess, then we didn't go through with anything though, so but she kept his memory going. She kept his work going, and appreciate her so much too. Can't forget his wife. Can't we really can't. She really helped in keeping his memory going, and so good job to her. Clap for her. So, but I just Jim Henson was just a genius. If you look at everything that's still around, it's because of him. Kermit, everything is because of him. We still have the Muppets. It's still like there was a Muppet movie that came out like a year ago, 2 years ago, or something like Jason Segel. That the people still love the Muppets. It's something that I don't think is ever going to go away, and I love them. And the thing is, because they're puppets, but they're not like kiddish, you know. They're not like stupid. Like Miss Piggy has a huge attitude, and she's so conceited, and she's not like happy-go-lucky puppet. I guess she's this very kind of crude sometimes. It's like they made these for like they are for kids, but they're not really. If you really look at it, it's not really. And the Muppets, all of them have their own personalities, and a lot of them are a little tough, a little rough around the edges, and I like that. I like that he didn't make it kiddish and stupid and have them kind of talk down to children because they have personality in them and I love it. More like the Sesame Street characters, obviously they're really toned down, but like in the Muppet movies, um, the Muppets in the movies don't cross over to Sesame Street. So, for Kermit was in Sesame Street, but there's a situation there. But for the most part, they don't cross over. So the Muppets in the movies have their own personalities separated from the characters on Sesame Street, and I like the ones in the movie because they have a lot of character and a lot of attitude, and there's and I like that. I like that Jim Henson didn't make them innocent and naive, and I don't know. It's just like we're kind of adult, I think, sometimes in a lot of ways, and I appreciate that. I appreciate that he didn't dumb things down. He didn't talk to kids like they were dumb or treat them like they don't have a brain, and I appreciate that. Um, his favorite song was Rainbow Connection from Muppet movie, and I just thought like this year, surprisingly, and it made me cry. I have to admit at that song, and he loved that song so much, and thinking of this funeral. But you could listen to a song one day and it means something different to you, and then you listen to it another time after you know the meaning and the importance of it to somebody else, and get something completely different out of it. That's what happened. Like, I listened to it and I was like, it's really pretty, and then I found out it was his favorite song and how important it was to him, and I listened to it again and I was like, oh, it's like so much more now to me, and it made me emotional listening to it the second time. So anyway, but yeah, pay tribute to Jim Henson and thank him for my childhood, because it's still going, it's not stopping. Um, Much of people love Walt Disney, and I love Walt Disney. I think it's important to also remember Jim Henson, because he is just as legendary and just as important as Walt Disney was in creating for children and adults and everyone, really everyone, because like I said, a lot of his humor is not for kids if you listen to it close enough, especially Miss Piggy. So yeah, just saying that, putting that out there. But yeah, I think that's it. So that is all. Goodbye.